Alright, welcome. This is Nuke Marine presenting Let's Read Japanese, a course series for the reading of Japanese text alongside its audio counterpart. Today's video is going to be Terrace House, Week 12. This is the last episode of the first season. As I mentioned, we'll be putting Terrace House on pause for about 12 or so days while I do Hanzao Naoki, and then come back and start again on Season 2, and then rotating through after that. Okay, but the plan is, again, to do all 8 seasons of Terrace House, mixed in with 4 different TV shows that I kind of been wanting to do Let's Reads on for the longest time. With that said, as far as Terrace House is concerned, we just found out from the previous episode that 2 people are leaving, Masato and Die. So, currently know that, and there's going to, I guess also a final date between Die and Tetsuya, Rie and Tetsuya, and yeah, I think that's about it. There's really not much more to it than that. Beyond that, just the standard stuff that's happening on the show. Okay, for those of you watching, for those of you on YouTube, if you enjoy this video, remember to give it a thumbs up and leave a comment, because feedback's always welcome. If you enjoy this series, I'd like to see more like it, like I was mentioning. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, because again, plan to do many more like this in the future. And this is all part of the Let's Learn Japanese project. So if you appreciate what I've been doing to help the Japanese learning community in all the weird ways in which I do it, moderating the occasional subreddit, helping out with Anki decks, resources, whatnot, or even doing videos on this channel. So if you appreciate that, you want to support it in some way, one method is via the Patreon, so there's a link to that in the description below. There's also links to the community Discord and the Let's Learn Japanese website that Otaku Dave put together. And that last link in there it's to the Patreon, but it's specifically for if you'd like to talk to me one-on-one, face-to-face, Discord or Skype, Zoom, whatever. And it could be over whatever subject you think, that maybe help you get started, help you, maybe ask for some tips or techniques or address any concerns you may have. Whatever it is, if you'd like to do that, that's what that link is for. All right. So with that said, that's about it. We can get into this last episode. And yeah. And like I said, the next video for tomorrow is going to be Hanzao Naoki. Yeah, that's kind of how we got it. That's kind of how it's set up. So with that said, let's get started. And just for the live stream, let's see, on my live stream, this is at the hour 22-minute mark. So I'm just going to do that to keep a mental registry of how long this particular video takes. All right, let's go. Uh-oh, that wasn't good. Okay. Make sure this is the correct video. This is week 12. Okay, looks like everything's ready. Let's do it. So I don't know if next season she's still going to be riding around that car. She's been in that car for like 3 months straight. You think she's had to get out to go to the bathroom one of these days. And no, it's by Toyota. They're sponsors of the show. 残すところ。今年も残すところ。
この番組ももう早3ヶ月経っちゃいました。見ず知らずの男女6人が突然一つ屋根の下生活を始めました。番組が用意したのは素敵なお家と素敵な車。
I apologize. I'm getting interference with my earphones here, so what I'm going to do is disconnect them and then just go off regular earphones. Oh, here we are. Disconnect. Okay. You can't put in the earphones. All right. Hopefully that works. Yeah, seems to be all right. And
敵なお家と素敵な車、それだけです。台本もなくただ見守ってまいりました。マー君が卒業することを受けてりっちゃんが、私もいつまでもここにはいられない、卒業する。
このテラスハウスを出ていこうと思いまして、クリスマスパーティーとかが最後になっちゃうかもしれない。
まさかのキッチンでみんなに報告をして、それをまたてっちゃんがね知らないわけなんですけれども、横浜デートをかつてしたんですけれども、触れ
Felix Zarg. Yeah, if you want to talk that, you can go onto a different Twitch stream. That's no problem there.
ることさえなくですね、横浜デートをかつて
Okay, Yokohama. Where are we at here?
したんですけれども、横浜デートをかつてしたんですけれども、触れることさえなくですね、思いもつけられなかったてっちゃんなんですが、
水曜もう一回デートしよ
お、いいよ全然。
今度こそ手をつなぐなり、素直に思いを告げるなり、てっちゃんできるのでしょうか。その辺もね楽しみですね。今宵も今年最後のテラスハウスご覧ください。
すごい。
Oh, Kamakura.
う。願い事する？
これ
Yeah, so if you Kamakura is kind of known as like Little Kyoto in that Kyoto's on the other side of the island of Japan. But yeah, so there's a lot of historical shrines and temples in Kamakura to visit, including Daibutsu, the big Buddha. That's kind of a famous, but there's also a big shrine as well that's there. That a lot of traditional weddings take place in that location. So yeah, and then of course all over the place as well. So good place to visit if you're visiting Tokyo. Make sure to stop by Kamakura for both traditional and also the beautiful sights as well.
OK。
They saw it. Okay, let's leave.
美味しいねこれは。かわいい。
ここが
おしゃれだね。
Local. Is that where he works?
いるかな。
Oh.
こんにちは。はい、2人。
もうてっきりてっちゃん振られたのかと思った今日デートしてもらえてると最近てっちゃんさすげえ仕事をバリバリやり始めて、
あ、そう。
どうしたのかなと思ってたんですよ。
Buddy, buddy, Eddie. Make sure about maybe it's a little.
あ、そう。
どうしたのかなと思ってたんですよ。今日またなんかちょっといつもよりギリしい。
Vishi.
今日
あ、そう。
どうしたのか最近てっちゃんさすげえ仕事をバリバリやり始めて、
あ、そう。
どうしたのかなと思ってたんですよ。今日またなんかちょっといつもよりギリしい。
そうね。夕日が超綺麗。
ね、めっちゃ綺麗、眩しいでも。
眩しいね。
うん。
みっちゃん、俺ね、
はい。
やりたいこと見つかったんだよ。
あ、本当に？
うん、見つかった。俺ね、俳優になりたい。
じゃあ頑張らなくちゃじゃん。
うん、頑張る。
そっか。そうだね。てっちゃんの夢が見つかるまで見守りたいって思ってたので、
うんうん。
私もまあ次の夢に向かって歩き出そうと思います。
そうだよね。
だからテラスハウスを出ていこうと思います。
出ていくの？そっか。
そうだね。
でも本当にさ、俺もこれから頑張るからさ、見ててよ。
そうだよ、男らしく。
男らしくなるよ、本
寒い。
I don't think that was like. Usually it's like don't. I don't know. It depends, but I mean, my usual thing is like slide down the arm so like, and then we can fit it. I don't know. It just depends on how you want to go about it, or just hold your hand out and see it. Let her grab it. Either way, it's all good. There's all sorts of ways.
あ、それやだ。
Okay, that was funny.
当なるんでしょ。
Okay.
りっちゃんいなくなるんでしょ。知ってた？いなくなるんだって。
この前聞いたけど。
知ってた？
知ってた。
知ってた？
知ってたよ。
あれ？でも寂しいよね。
その気持ちは分かるんだけどね、てっちゃん。そのデートの最終結果どうだったの？
なんかないの？手つなぐとかなかったの？
俺本当に手つなごうと思ったんだよ。一瞬だけ握ったけどダメだった。
ダメ？
一瞬だよ。一瞬だよ。俺本当に手つなごうと思ったんだよ。一瞬だけ握ったけどダメだった。
ダメ？どういうこと？
こうなってるじゃん。
山里君じゃありっちゃんね。
いいよ。でどういう感じだったの？
いやこうやって歩ってで止まってちょっと夕日を見てたの。ここにバッグがあってバッグを
かけてたんだ。
かけてたの。でこうやってバッてやってこうやってやったらパッて
バカだ。それでりーちゃんなんて言ったの？
嫌だって言われちゃったような気がする。
嫌だって言われちゃったの？
So yeah.
超強ぜいね。まあでもこの経験は次に生かせんじゃん。
There you go. Yeah.
こういうことはもう二度とないでしょう。
でもりーちゃん出てっちゃうけど。
そうだよね。
確かにそこだね。
But and again, I kind of mentioned it. They're on camera, so that really, really changes the calculus. Like if they were just there alone, like without the camera, it probably wouldn't have happened. I mean, I'm sorry, let me take it back. They probably could have continued holding hands. But she's thinking she's planning on leaving. That means she still wants to continue her career, both AKB48 and maybe become an actress or whatnot. And if you give the illusion that she actually has like actual connections to one guy and that'll then you'll have a group of fans that are like, oh, I don't have a shot anymore. Her heart's already taken or something, or they look at her as even the worst are the ones that like see it like, oh, she's damaged goods. It's like, oh god, I mean, they're really creepy. It's stuff that like the fact that they cater to that. I mean, I hope they don't cater to it, but I mean, I get a bad feeling they do cater to that type of mindset, which is a bad idea. But yeah, it's. I'm just saying though, if the camera was there, I'm pretty sure like they would have continued holding hands because again, it's cold, warm hands. She's saying it's cold, so don't just hold the hand. Get close and kind of show, hey, share warmth. There you go. It could have been something as small as that, but nope. The camera's there, and that's probably could have been in the back of her head, and there you go. Maybe, or maybe she's just not really interested in the guy. It could be that as well. Yeah. Where are we at now?
そうだ。
確かにそこだね。
Artwork. Actually, though, Fuji-san, yeah, looks beautiful in the wintertime. Got that snow cap. All right, making the artwork board. That's cool. Calling a Christmas party and a wakare party, and also a farewell party as well. Something happened. Get the feeling I skipped over a bunch of stuff.
そうだよね。
こういう生活をして
There we go.
本当に免許が欲しくなるね。
そうだね。てかこの前さ、てっちゃんと大仏デート行ったんでしょ。鎌倉。
大仏で
大仏
The big Buddha, yeah. 大仏って。
デートっていうか鎌倉
そうね、
デート。
そう行った。
てっちゃん、手繋ごうとしてきたんでしょ。
その言い方
手繋ごうとしてきたんでしょ。
その言い方はもう
どう思った？いや反省してるの。
反省してます、もちろん。
なんで？
ひどいことをしたと。
まあでもてっちゃんがうまかったってことだね。
なことはないですよ。ドキッとはしましたもんよ。
やっぱり、やっぱりドキッとしちゃった。
Toquito. Oh, okay. Something scary. Shot.
やっぱりドキッとしちゃった。
顔もうやだ、ほんと。誘われた時からドキッとしてるからね。誘い方がね、男前だったよ。
あ、嘘。おつい。
いや、
いや
ちょっとアメリカっぽくない？
アメリカっぽい。
海外セレブっぽい。
Really? I wouldn't say that, but okay.
でしょ。
海外セレブ。
Maybe American TV. Maybe that's what he's talking about. Although I don't know, I wasn't watching TVs in the early 2010s like that, so maybe it is.
でもももちゃんも海外セレブだよ。
でしょ。
すごい。
超可愛いでしょ。
いい
Kaigai said it. Okay.
ね。
イエーイ。
バイバイ。
It does change her style.
ありがとう。買ってきたよ。ありがとう。
なんか可愛くない？めっちゃ。
あ、そうドレスアップした。
超可愛い。
後ろに。
どうしよう。なんか手伝う。おいマジか、これ絶対うまいやつだ。や
ね、さすがてっちゃん。天才じゃん。
ばい。
He does cook. Or at least he cuts the onions well.
じゃーん。長いです。
美味しそう。こんなクリスマス。やばいね。幸せ。
メリークリスマス。
メリークリスマス。
これやばい。
よかった。よかった。
めっちゃ美味しい。はじめさ、一人ずつさ、どういう印象だった？
いやでも緊張したな、初めて。セナさんとマスト君がさ、その時いたんだよ。20って聞いた時にって思って、なんかすげえ大人っぽかった。
Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, I didn't realize like it kind of surprised me. I know it shows it, it gives the age, but because it's on like a small screen up there, it's it was hard kind of. I mean, in front of me is also it's still small. It was kind of hard to like, and I'm paying attention more to the script over there than I am to the, what's happening on the video itself. That again, it just didn't register me that he was 20 years old. And then it's like when they're talking about, oh, he's like a Hitachi boy, or he's not really like he's 20s. It's like, well, yeah, but I was thinking he was 25. No, he's 20.
中身は子供だけど。
そのまたチューしちゃったけどね。
Burn.
そのまたチューしちゃったけどね。
There you go. That was good.
今のいい。やっぱいいね。まだ言ってほしい。
明日はさ、りっちゃんもマー君も帰ってこないなんて本当に思わない。
また明日も普通にあるんじゃないかって思ってるもんなんか。
飲みます。はい、飲みましょう。飲みましょう。メリークリスマス。メリークリスマス。
Okay, that's good.
変わりようは
Christmas show.
似合うね。本当に。
And really had the biker stash or the porn stash going. Okay.
一番なんかマッチ。
They're like surrounded by like And he still looks like the most depressed person there, the Tetsuya guy. He just looks like the most... He's really got to chill the fuck out, man. He's all sorts of stressed.
してない一番なんかマッチしてない
マッチしてるめっちゃ似合ってる本当にうわ
ん
すごい
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
これは一生忘れないねこれで飛びまくってくるわこれは一生忘れないねこれで飛びまくってくるわありがとう超嬉しい
I wonder if they translated that. I mean, because I haven't seen the translation, the fan translation, but like, what do I say? What's it in? It's like, but basically, they're saying, I'll remember this my whole life. Even though there would be like, my whole life, I won't forget this. I think it would be, just if you want to go for something that sounds more natural. It's a little different between going from literal to what you want to also do be natural, literal and natural translations. A lot of the fan sub seems to fall for literal as opposed to natural. From what I noticed. Oh, wait, let's go back. There we go. The little lip lick. I know it's not that, but... Okay. Anyway, what are we doing here? Yeah, bye. Did they change? Nope, still in there.
いや別に
別にってことないです
別に
どうしたの
何どうしたの
何どうもしない
じゃあ
なんかね
どこの意味が
Kokohakusha? No, please tell me he didn't do that. Please tell me he didn't do that. No. What did he do? What happened? Or what is he thinking about doing?
なんだどうしたんだ
いや別に
挙動不審じゃないの
Ah, boy. Yeah, Kodofushin. Okay.
別に何
Kodofushin.
挙動不審じゃないの
別に何ちょっとうるせえちょっとうるせえなんて言ってたの
なんつった
ちょっと俺りっちゃんと話したいからちょっとさ
邪魔だね邪魔だね
なんだ早く言えないよ何うろうろしてんの
わかんないんだけど最初変えて言えよ
寝るよ
もうスッといなくなるよそんな
Okay, I was thinking like he already did something, and it's like did something. I mean, he's gonna do something awkward, but it's okay.
してなくなるよ
そんな怒んなって
冷静にね冷静ね
冷静
頑張れ
ゆうちゃん
頑張れっていうか
Where are we at here? There we are.
最後のようになっちゃったからさ
なっちゃいましたね
寂しいんだけどさりっちゃんそうだりっちゃんいなくなっちゃうんだもんね明日からなんかでもいろんなことしたよねハンバーグも作ったし
そうだねハンバーグ作ったわ
覚えたみじん切りのやり方
玉ねぎのみじん切りだけはね覚えて帰ります
習得した
東京にはい
オッケー星も見たね
見たね
流星群
懐かしい
あー新幹線嘘ついたよね
そうね懐かしい
新幹線嘘つかれた
でもうちも本当に3ヶ月間楽しかったよいろんなことが初めてだったしいろんな経験ができたしそれで本当にもう分かんないですけれども分かんないけども人に思ってもらえるのってこんな幸せなんだなって思った3ヶ月間でした
よかった。
幸せな3ヶ月間だった。
そうね。本当は寂しいから言ってほしくないけど、そんなことは言えないからさ。最後の夜なのに、相変わらず何話そうかなって悩んでるけど本当にありがとうね。ありがとう。
I'll be honest. I wish it would be playing all this stupid music, and I think it kind of takes away from because it makes it harder to hear. By the way,
頑張ってね。
ありがとう。
じゃあおやすみ。
おやすみ。よいしょ。
おやすみ。
okay. Okay.
Fix you.
やめてよシーンとな。ちょっと面白い話してよ。
できねえよ
おはよう。
あ
おはよう。よいしょ。よいしょ。あれ、荷物持ってきた？
うん、下にあるよ。翔くん面白いこと言ってよ。
I know, like for the last 12, usually he's the guy who helps break the ice. Like, if something's uncomfortable, an awkward silence, he's the one who gets to break it. Yeah.
ないでしょ。
あるじゃん、いっぱい持ってるじゃんネタ。じゃあてっちゃんしゃもじ持って歌ってよ。
びっくりした、想像以上に。
ギリギリになるとこうなるよね。ね。
Sorry, I know it's sad and all that, but I'm still gonna skip over the sniffling.
そろそろ。そろそろ行かないといけない時間なので、お先に。
I know it's sad and all that, but it's funny. Like you cannot hear what she's saying, but without the subtitles.
またねりえちゃん。向こうからも応援してるから。
では本当に行ってきます。
頑張って。
頑張ってきます。いってらっしゃい。行ってきます。
So meet in the living room first time. Say goodbye in the kitchen for the last time. Okay, I guess I wonder if they keep that as. I'm trying to remember. it feels like they kind of do that. Yeah, I think they keep that as a kind of a little standard.
これ持って帰っていい？マスターというか寂しいから下まで降りてくんな送って意外と寂しがり屋だからまたねおーちゃん
またね
またね意外と寂しがり屋だからまたねおーちゃん
またね
頑張ってるマスト君
ありがとうね。
じゃあ翔君
At least you now know that they are wearing microphones because, you're hearing through the tapping. Of course, when Momoko was doing her, crying goodbye, like you couldn't hear it because her microphone was covered. So you couldn't hear anything she was saying. All right. Anyway, sorry.
やべえ
やべえ
あ、やだ忘れた思った
Oh, he actually is crying. Okay.
思った俺だってもう泣きそうだよまたねまたね
応援してるからね。
泣かないでよバイバイ綺麗だなお
Oh, wait.
バイバイ綺麗だなお
Where are we at?
えなんて書いてあるちょっと読んでよちょっと待って読んだらやばいちょっと待って読んでよちょっと待ってなんで読んでねえよまだ
読むね、手紙なんて俺っぽくないけど読んでね3ヶ月一緒にいたけどもう何年もいるくらい仲良くなっちゃったね先に出ていくことになっちゃったけど俺がいなくなっても泣くなよてっちゃんはもっと自分に自信を持って男らしくなってねでもその優しいところだったり素直なところは俺が大好きなところだから絶対変わらないでね俺がいなくなってもテラスハウス楽しんでねバイバイ
まさとで
よろしくお願いし
お願い
ます。
します
北原里美と申します。よろしくお願いします。
この出会いで乾杯
全部やりきれてないんじゃないのそれそうだ甘いもんじゃん人の夢を洗うやつなんかいないよ本当だよよし行くぜ
Why didn't they do that with Yeah, I mean, they did it with him, but why not her? You know, it's you kind of have a similar. Did we miss it? Did they do a montage, or is it for both of them? Maybe it is for both of them. Okay.
チーズ
今平手時間がちょっと
遅えよ
あの時はもう帰ってくるもんだっていう気が今平手時間がちょっと
遅えよ
あの時はもう帰ってくるもんだっていう気がしてさ
Alrighty. And and again, I apologize if people are watching this that were like really big fans of the show. You got to understand real quick. All right, I've been doing this like over the last week. So, like I said, I didn't get this 3 months of build up to kind of like getting attached to these persons, and then when finally seeing them go, it just didn't happen. So, you know, so it's I can see how this could be a lot sadder. And let me go right here. This would be a lot much sadder if it were that type of buildup. I can imagine that because you know you get it. I mean, obviously they got attached because they lived with each other for 3 months, but also you kind of got to look in on the lives of these people over. I mean, yeah, it was edited and produced in a way, but you know these were this is who they are in a way. I mean, it's maybe a bit guarded because you know cameras are involved, but you know you can see they did let down their guard. And you kind of got to see who they the types of persons they are, both with or without the use of alcohol. But the so you can imagine like that, that seems sincere, like that's some sincere emotion that these two men are, about a friend that leaves. Now me personally, have I cried when someone left? I'm trying to think. It's maybe I think it's similar to what they're doing. It's like more of a delayed emotion. Like when you finally the reality hits, it doesn't hit at the moment, or maybe even on the date, but it could hit. Like you realize, like you look over, you're expecting to see someone who is not going to be there anymore. So that can happen. I mean, I've had because in the military, you're pretty much unless you're married, you're going to probably be in a barracks, sharing a room with one, two, sometimes three other people, maybe even more if it's a like it's actual barracks. Or barracks, usually when we say that, it's like we just mean the individual rooms. But you can actually, when you first do boot camp, you're in the squad bay or the equivalent of that, and it's open barracks. But then you have closed, individual room barracks, and you can have a roommate for a year or longer, and you can move out, or when you're in a job for 2 to 3 years because it's military, it's contract, and so you get used to people coming into and out of your life, but you realize like, oh yeah, they're out of your life, like on a day-to-day basis, but they're still around in a way. Again, you can still communicate with them, talk to them, so it's not like that loss feels as permanent as the loss would be if it was through death or someone. It just so that emotion, it doesn't, maybe to me it doesn't feel as strong. I can imagine it. Plus, even growing up, I mean, I used to as a kid, because as my family had moved around a lot when I was like really young, and then finally we were able to like stay at a place for like 3 years at a time, then another 3 years at a time. So there was a bit more stability there. And even where we lived like for 6 years, finally, it was only one place for 3 years and then another place for 3 years, but it was still at least in the same town for 6 years. So it's like I consider that my hometown as opposed to where I was born or some of the places where I went to school when I was younger before I went to 6th grade. But there was always that feeling of, okay, yeah, you got to just suddenly just leave and never communicate with someone again. So that was like, it was essentially, they had just like never existed after that. The only thing you have of them left of them is a memory of who they were. That's it. That's all you're left with. So I can imagine that, but it's just not the reaction. I probably won't have a reaction like that if someone is leaving like that. Either it just because, and especially even now with the internet, where it's like no one ever leaves. If you want to stay in contact, it's easy to stay in contact. So that's the thing you can add beyond that. But I didn't want to think like I'm but I want to understand. It's like I understand though that people who are like were fans of the show and had actually seen the season and then maybe seen the entire series, and maybe they watch it a lot slower than what I did. Especially if they're doing it like on the subreddit where it's like week by week the English subtitles were being released, the fan subtitles were being released, so you would experience the show week by week. Unless you wanted to, you could watch ahead, but if you didn't understand Japanese, you're not going to understand much of what was going on. So I can understand like they can, so you would have this slow build of here are these people, you're slowly getting to know them, and a week passed by. So it's not like this has just happened. Like for me, the previous episode was an hour ago, whereas for them, like the previous episode was a week ago. They had a whole week to process this, look forward to what was going to be happening on the goodbye, and then actually experience it. So so there's a big difference between what is a slow build up versus in almost real time. Like I said, and then of course that goes with the people who watch this in Japan for the first time. Like it was in real time almost. Like it was filmed the next week. There it's happening. Like Christmas, when some people are seeing this, Christmas was a week prior. Like so they were seeing this happening. Like they remember the Christmas parties, and so that's fresh in their head. So this feels real. I mean, yeah. So you can see how that as that type of reality, that'd be hard to replicate. Now they don't want to do it like that anymore. They want that lead time, but you kind of lose that connection. Like when you have dramas around Christmas time, they will show the Christmas episode where you see all the illumination, Santa, the Christmas outfits, or around Halloween when they start doing, they start having themed aspects. So that episode will just demonstrate, okay, this is happening at this time. So you feel that connection because, Christmas is happening or the Christmas season's happening while the show's showing. And so you feel like, oh, it's happening. The show feels like it's happening in the moment. All these things so I'm just saying that so that the fact that it looked like it didn't seem like I cared that, again, these real people were showing their emotions. Yeah, I appreciate that. First thing is like, I don't have that connection to them like another person would for 3 months. Plus I was skipping over, save time. Yeah, okay, I'm burning up this time again by talking about it. But that is, I'm pretty sure though, I guarantee it, since I am watching this I at least watched the first 3 episodes with my wife. If she can continue watching it with me, maybe not, then we can watch it again. I'm pretty sure by the time we got to this episode, she'll be in the chair crying. I guarantee you, she will be in the chair crying. I mean, this is my wife. I don't usually talk about my wife all that much, but for example, they're showing on TV, they're showing video clips or whatever. And in this one video clip, you may have seen it before, but it's the little baby bear climbing up the cliff but it's snow-covered cliff and knocking snow off, but trying to get up the cliff, and there's snow's it keeps sliding a little bit down. The mama bear is up at the top, waiting for her baby bear to make it up. The mommy bear was able to make it. The baby bear hasn't. So the baby's trying, right? It got up to the top. The mama bear tried to grab it and it slid all the way back down. My wife said, "Oh no!" And so the baby bear's trying, went up a different route, kept trying. It took like a full 2 minutes, right? And then finally the baby bear makes it. I look back, there's my wife just like bawling her eyes out. She's like, "Gambata, gambata," because she was emotionally invested in, this particular small little animal. So, being emotionally invested in a show, I can imagine that when something emotional then happens in the show, that cathartic release, you're just going to, cry. That's perfectly natural, and I'm not going to demean that. It's just, it caught me, I know that's what's going to happen with her. So sometimes I'm very careful about making sure like what episode she will see on certain things where I know like it might just be too sad. Like the end of Zetai Kareshi. Technically it's a robot, he doesn't, but again he basically does pass away. And yeah, as expected, she was crying. She didn't care about the series at all. In fact, she didn't even really watch the series. But I said, okay, we'll just watch the final 2 episodes. I told her like, okay, here's what's happening up to this point. And then, okay, fine. Then we watched final 2 episodes. But I knew she was going to cry. Yeah, she did. But she did enjoy at least those last parts because it's more about a bit more of the emotional dramas. Makes sense. I've also mentioned about her you know, because about how she would probably cry to a scene like this. We watched A Star Is Born, the Bradley Cooper, Lady Gaga version, and oh man, that destroyed her. Like it was enough to where she had said like she almost felt like she couldn't go. She felt like in the morning like she couldn't go to work. You know, she had that type of, you know, like she was still even at night after she had slept and woke up, it was still like had that big of an impact on her. It was a like she still has not rewatched it. She doesn't feel like she's mentally ready to rewatch it. It's that. Another movie that just we had to turn off in the middle of it because it would just What Dreams May Come. It just in the middle, it was just destroying her. Like she was just could not handle. Yeah, because again, she's in a she will form strong emotional attachments and have care and concern about, you know, friends and strangers, you know, and still think about friends and strangers. You know, that's always in the back of her mind about, you know, how is everybody okay? That's always going through her head. Like if she wants to be willing to, you know, take care of somebody, be worried about someone's health and well-being, which again means that she'll react strongly. That goes over to when she's watching TV shows and movies. I'm not that type of person, but again, I'm not demeaning or derogatory of those that do have that, because again, we all react differently to different things. What's probably sets me off maybe look odd to her. You know, for me, you know, it's like a little bit about, you know, sacrifice. That's the part that kind of sets me off when someone sacrifices for another. That's sort of a triggering point for me for, you know, kind of breaking down or going crying. No, so again, just different personalities on whatnot, and you know, those are just things you can't control. But and I'll say this now, this was a good episode because it did feel real. The ending parts felt real. Yeah, that little bit about them at the dinner table, the handshake looked awkward as heck. But you know, I think she was trying to say is like, look, I think she was trying to, without saying it's like, look, we don't have to like go out together, or you know, that doesn't matter. I mean, you got 3 months of memories, and they were good memories, you know, and keep those. Those are still going to be there, and there's nothing wrong with that. Having a good experience, and don't regret that it didn't. Don't regret that experience they had because it didn't end the way you wanted it to end. You know, it's going to end. And, you know, appreciate what it is, because that's what makes experiences, both the good and bad. I mean, if you ignore all, or you try to repress all those, you don't develop as a person. I mean, so yeah, the heartache, the loss, you know, the love and the hates, the wins, the losses, the friendships, the enemies, you know, well, hopefully not too many enemies, but I mean, all this is experience. And I've seen people who felt like they look back on anything they've experienced with a negative viewpoint, and they want to repress it, not have to not even acknowledge it, pretend like it never happened. But you know, I'm sorry, there was an Avatar movie. It was made. You have to get over it. Okay. Okay. That was like. God, when was that fucking movie made? I don't even care. It was a bad movie. I have not watched it entirely. I still turned it off. I try to watch it, and it's like, no, this ain't happening. But it still happened. And use that experience as to say, don't make a movie like this. Okay? Don't, just because the name is written A-A-N-G, doesn't mean you need to pronounce it as people would pronounce A-A-N-G. It's pronounced A-N-G to help people who speak English to pronounce it correctly. That's not for how people in the other language would pronounce it, if they use the same letters. Okay, Mr. M. Night Shyamalan. Okay, it's not Ong, it's Ang. That's A-A-N-G was so the English audiences would, when they see the word written down, they pronounce it as it's meant to be pronounced. Okay, it's like the guy's nickname, the baseball player's nickname is not Dice K. It's just the idea is like when you say Dice K, you then pronounce it correctly. Because if they wrote D-A-I-S-U-K-E, I mean Daisuke, they would pronounce it wrong. So you write it in a way so it's pronounced correctly, even if it's not how you would write it normally in using. Okay, anyway, sorry, I'm just going off on a Avatar or the Last Airbender movie. Yeah, so when I said Avatar, I was talking about Avatar, the Last Airbender movie, not Avatar, the James Cameron version. Since, okay. Okay, I think I'm pretty much done here. I forgot, when did I even start? We're about the 50-minute mark. Yeah, there's really not much else to say about this. I'm giggling too much. Good episode. I could see why. I don't think they probably could recreate something like this, because they didn't. The 6 people going to probably didn't know what it was going to be like. Everybody else after that kind of knows what it's like. And then also, continuing the series, there's nothing like, there's that first 6. Then you go through essentially the equivalent of Theseus shipped. Theseus no Fune. I mean, it's just the idea of, you're slowly replacing parts. So is it really the same, or is it a different group? The fact that you've changed out 2 members, is it the original members kind of, that there's still a memory of them, even though there's going to be, that's going to remain. So it's going to be a little different, but reflective of same and something new, and just a new experience. I'll see what it's like. It'll slowly change again, the way they do the intros, saying, hey, this is how strangers react to what they're seeing on screen. So that'll be, in this case, talent. So that's going to be kind of interesting going into it. Because like I said, the you introduction kept getting longer. So it's like, started off like it was like maybe a minute at most. And then it's like getting up to like 2 to 3 minutes for recapping as to what happened the previous episode. And then later on, again, what's going to happen is like either at the midway point, maybe 2 or 3 times, or 1 or 2 more times in the middle of the show, also recap what they're seeing, or what events had happened. And yeah, I guess what was happening in the first season, though, they were actually putting little labels there. That's what they were there. It's like to give the audience an idea, like, hey, will they, won't they? Will he kiss? Will he be able to ask her out? Well, what is she going to be able to? Is she going to get this interview? Whatnot. So, really, not much more I can say about this. It's yeah, but it was a good episode. I think I will need to watch it again without pausing. Watch it as it's meant to be watched, so you can appreciate the emotions and the what these characters are going through. Because this was a legit. They built up obviously, if there was not a friendship built up, they wouldn't have cried. They seem to be more broken up over Masato leaving than Die leaving. I mean, Momoko looked like she was maybe it's unfortunate that because she, again, was probably the busiest of the group, so she had spent probably the least amount of time in the house than the others. So maybe they were able to build more of a friendship with him than with her. So his loss felt more emotional, just because they had built up more emotions together. Maybe it's that. I don't know. I mean, but it's obviously like what you can see is there's a big difference between the two. But yeah, they're going to have lives. I mean, I'm assuming they're still going to communicate, but refer back to it. But anyway, time will tell. I think that's it. Okay, well, we'll end it there. Anyway, like I mentioned, for those of you on YouTube and also on Twitch, this is going to be the last episode of Terrace House since this is season 1 for a few days. I'm going to be doing Hanzao Naoki, then coming back to do season 2, then finish up the second half of Hanzao Naoki. All right, that's the current. And then, like I said, there's other shows as well. But I'm going to be doing all 8 seasons of Terrace House, and just in between each season, I'm going to do half a season of a particular show, either the first or second half. And I look forward to both of those. This has been good, no doubt about it. It just, I'm not going to do just this because it's just going on too long. I'd rather have it mixed in with some other stuff. But it's quite good. I do recommend it for someone who's studying Japanese. I recommend it just for the conversation alone. Just for the conversation. And some of the experience of seeing social life in Japan, which is kind of difficult to see when it's in a drama. This is a bit more real. There's there's probably some other better, maybe better examples of that. I don't know. I'm sure it exists. Just, this works out quite well because they are following these 6 people, and not just how they interact with each other when they first meet, but also later on when they become friends. The friendship develops. The walls are kind of torn down a bit. But also then how these people, when they interact with other people, that'll be of interest as well. Cool. Nothing else more to add to that. So, for those of you on YouTube, if you enjoyed this video, remember to give it a thumbs up. If you enjoyed the series and you'd like to see more, subscribe to the channel. If you appreciate what I'm doing to help the Japanese learning community, and you'd like to support that in one way or another, then one is in the description, is the link to the Patreon where you can support. There's also links to the community Discord and the website. The last link there is if you want to talk to me one-on-one, face-to-face, Skype, or Discord or whatnot, either helping you start up, helping you continue, or addressing concerns or issues, or you just want to chit-chat. All is well and good. Your choice. But yeah, that's what that last link is for. Cool. So with that said, thank you all very much. I'll be seeing you tomorrow. Most likely. I keep saying that since it's Sunday, I'm real time, it's Sunday. So Sundays and Saturdays always up in the air. Usually Saturdays I don't live stream, but just had an open time in my schedule, so I was able to do it. Beyond that, yeah, we'll be seeing you tomorrow with the Hanzao Naoki. And I'm kind of worried about that one because that's a complicated show with high level vocabulary and whatnot. But it's also kind of corny because it has kind of that staged, Japanese stage type of dialogue delivery of yelling at the top of your lungs, being emotional about everything that you say, and everything is dramatic and the end of the world. It's said in that way, as opposed to what we've been experiencing with Terrace House. So yeah, it's different, but it's fun. It's enjoyable. So yeah, there is that. Beyond that, yeah, I will see you next time. So for those of you on YouTube, see you later. For those of you on Twitch, stick around. But later, guys.